Hey everyone, David here. So it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. time, and now I am bringing you my review of the latest episode to premiere entitled Who You Really Are, which, from the sound of it, is very centered on Skye, because she is the one that we all look towards when it comes to the theme of being who you really are. Obviously, the first person that comes to mind when it comes to the show is going to be Skye, because she is all the rage. But then, knowing ahead of time that this episode was actually going to guest star Jamie Alexander as Lady Sif a second time, that scared me a little bit. That actually gave me the feeling that we were going to have another Case of the Week type of format. And for the first half of the episode, we actually kind of did. This time, the crew, along with the help of Lady Sif, who has had her memory erased, and that kind of causes a little bit of a problem, follow this man who is suspected of being an alien from another planet or whatever, causing trouble once more. And this harkened back to the format and to the style of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in those first 7 or so episodes from Season 1. And that had me just a tiny bit worried, because those were like the least favorite episodes by not just me, but everybody. If you want to compare them, they were the worst episodes out of the entire series. So to go back to that format, and like I said, it was that format practically for the first half, because they were following clues, trying to figure out who this person is. And that was probably the only actual downside to the episode, is that the first half was that format that we had seen before, and I was like, are we really going back to that? But what was cool about it is that this guy is actually revealed to be Kree. And that is the reason why Lady Sif is sent down from Asgard to go and retrieve him, because this is obviously, the people of Asgard are like the America, in which we're kind of like the world police. Whenever there's trouble in some other countries, we somehow get involved. And I feel like the people of Asgard, or at least the warriors of Asgard, like Sif and Thor and Heimdall, who's the one that informed her about it, are those people of the 9 realms. And so when they see a Kree following to Midgard, who Asgard is responsible for protecting, they're like, okay, we gotta go check that out. And it is because of this Kree and his magic trident, I think, his little mini hammer, his little discount hammer, as opposed to Thor's mighty Mjolnir. He's the one who's responsible for her memory wipe. And what I liked about the first half of this episode being following that case format is that even though I didn't like that format per se, I like that it was actually tied to the bigger plot that is going on about the Kree, about the city, about how that all ties in together. And then the last 20 minutes or so is very much the S.H.I.E.L.D. that we have known for the past few episodes in Season 2, where they're just laying it all down on the ground and not wasting any time. Finally, Skye not only, she becomes agitated and therefore activates her quaking powers, but the group finds out within one episode. They're like, yeah, okay, there you go, Skye. Now everybody knows about Skye, and this causes friction within the team. Not only during that particular scene where Sif even kind of sides with the Kree and trying to take Skye away because of the liability that she can be for Midgard or Earth, but also within the team about the value of trust and why Fitz was the only one who knew, and therefore Simmons feels betrayed. The rest of the group feel that they should have known about this, which is kind of ironic coming from Mac and Bobby. More on them in a minute. But that entire segment of the episode was just incredibly intense. I mean, the fighting was pretty, I don't want to say generic, but pretty routine for the show. I wasn't really at the edge of my seat for those moments. It was more about our characters staring down at each other going, hey, what the hell is going on? And my jaw was dropped. I actually looked at myself and I'm like, is my mouth open? Walking Dead hasn't even done that recently. I mean, don't get me wrong, Walking Dead has been good in the past couple of episodes. There's been some interesting stuff in that show, but no other show that I'm watching has left me with the lasting impression that S.H.I.E.L.D. has. Can you believe that? After Bobby manages to wipe out the memory of the Kree soldier using his own weapon, everything gets tied up. Sif returns to Asgard, which her returning back to Earth also reminded me about the little detail out there that I think should be addressed either in future episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. or at least in some kind of end credit scene for either the upcoming Age of Ultron or at some point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe within at least the next year, because I'm begging to have this answered. Now, this is a bit of a spoiler for Thor 2: The Dark World, so if you are one of the few people who did not watch that movie, which wouldn't make sense considering that you're watching this show, then spoilers. But if you guys remember, at the end of that movie, Loki is actually Odin in disguise. What happened with the real Odin, we don't know. So to hear Sif once again say that I have instructions from Odin to take this guy down, makes me wonder, what is Loki's plan with this guy necessarily. And speaking of Bobby and Mac, who are in this picture, the whole subplot between them, Hunter, and this secret that Bobby and Mac are keeping from not only the rest of the group, but mainly Hunter because of his involvement, his sexual involvement with Bobby. We go back to that, and being that S.H.I.E.L.D. is not wasting any time, Hunter confronts Mac about this big secret, leading to Mac actually attacking Hunter and taking him down. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's dead, but he basically went that extra mile like he said he wasn't going to do. He says, oh, violence not my thing, but this thing is apparently important, very important to him and Bobby, that he's willing to take that course of action. And my only problem is not necessarily the show deciding to move forward with this plot by having Hunter confront Mac about the big secret, which is apparently not Hydra, because there's a conversation between the two of them that confirms that they're not Hydra, which I'm actually kind of glad, because the series, these past couple of episodes, including the mid-season finale about this whole big secret, was toying with that idea, and I'm like, I don't know, please let them be something else that's not S.H.I.E.L.D. but not Hydra either, because I actually like these two characters. I don't want them to be actually evil, and I love that conversation eliminated Hydra out of the way. But at the same time, what is this other thing that they're doing? I mean, is it for Fury? Is Nick Fury personally recruiting them to do something else on the side, like a side project or whatever? Or is there some other force out there that have recruited these two to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. from within Coulson's team from inside out? And so, like I said, my problem is not S.H.I.E.L.D. moving forward with the secret, it's how they did it. I didn't like how Hunter confronted Mac with this surefire mindset of saying, yes, you guys have something up, I want to know what it is. I would have liked it better if Hunter went up to him and been like, hey, you know, back when we were in the hallway and you guys mentioned backup, what was that? I'm curious to know. And then Mac goes, well, here's the deal. That would have made Mac just a tad bit more scary, considering how Hunter approached him very, sincere and casual, rather than Hunter being like, what is it? I know something's up, because it just felt a little bit too premature. That's the perfect term that I can use right now. It's premature. I would have liked it if Hunter would approach Mac a little bit more natural instead of going on somewhat of a hunch, because he just heard them say, you want to call for backup. For all he had known, that could have simply just meant the rest of the S.H.I.E.L.D. members instead of some other force, some other kind of backup. And it's just too much for him to go on. So like I said, the episode had me a little bit worried with the first half of the episode following that usual format of being the case of the week type of scenario, but I like how relevant it was to the plot. It didn't feel disconnected, and for a moment I was scared that it was going to be a filler episode, but fortunately it did not. And I'm glad that they managed to bring back Lady Sif to kind of continue a sense of continuity, and also lead us to a segment later on in the episode that reminds us that this time S.H.I.E.L.D. is wasting no time. Everything feels set just like the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been, under the care of the producers, the people in charge of Marvel, and just makes me feel confident in thinking that they know what they're doing. And so far, they delivered yet another great episode that had me at edge, with an awful lot of tension, some good character moments, and also, more importantly, painting a broader picture of how the Inhuman storyline is going to play with Marvel movies, as well as the remainder of this show, and potentially other shows. Maybe there will be some more Agent Carter, that they'll manage it to find a way to tie Agent Carter, should there be a second season, to the deal that was going on in Germany in the 1940s. I mean, we're still in the 1940s in Agent Carter, so who knows? Maybe they'll cut back to her adventures out there on the field, confronting Dr. Whitehall, because we do see those scenes earlier in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where she returns over to Germany and gets Whitehall and apprehends him. And being that this episode also tied that in with what the Nazis were investigating, and how there's other diviners that now the S.H.I.E.L.D. team now need to look for, while at the same time trying to deal with Skye, it's just becoming oh so good, and at the same time coming together to form this really humongous picture that I'm glad they're doing it right. So for that, I give Who You Really Are a low 9 out of 10. So let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What do you think? What do you make of all this? What do you make of not only what happened in this episode, but the Inhuman storyline, how it's going to tie in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Do you think there's going to be something, at least one thing mentioned in Age of Ultron? And how do you think Age of Ultron is going to tie in with S.H.I.E.L.D. later on in May? Because if they did it with Captain America, they're bound to do it at least somehow in a tiny little way with S.H.I.E.L.D. in this second season. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.